Imagine the devil shaking just because I yawned in the morning, just because I woke up and I stretched. The devil is already shaking like, Frida is awake. Is today the day she's going to tap into her potential? Is today the day she's going to realize how much gift she has and how much power God has placed inside of her? Is today that day? Like, people are sweating because you're awake. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyway. Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for coming on to Uncensored Frida today. I really hope you're having a good day wherever you are, and a really nice end of the year. So today I wanted to do a quick book review, and the book that I am going to be reviewing is The Woman Evolve. It's called Woman Evolve by Sarah Jakes Roberts. First of all, as the name suggests, Woman Evolve, the book is basically about reclaiming your power as a woman, finding your identity again, finding your strength again, finding your voice again. Maybe you've been through something that put you down or something that knocked you over temporarily. This book is that book. It's just such a good pick-me-up is what I would say, because at the time that I read this book, I was actually in a really, really low place mentally. I was questioning a lot about my life and just where I was going or what plans God has for me or how I was going to execute certain plans. So this book literally came in at the right time for me. So the first thing that I really, really loved about this book is SJR was transparent. Okay, I really, really applaud her transparency. It's not easy to open up to strangers. It's not easy to open up to people that literally could use things that you say against you and try to be mean and blah 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 blah. But she was really, really transparent in this book. She spoke about her divorce, she spoke about being a teen mom, she spoke about her marriage, present marriage, and it's always really nice to see people that you almost look up to, like people that we hold to such high regard, remind us that they are humans at the end of the day. And that's one thing that Sarah Jakes is good at, is she's really, really honest. She's always very transparent, very vulnerable. She will always let you know that she makes mistakes. She's not perfect. It's how she so easily admits in this book that she didn't know better. And there were even times where she knew better, but she still didn't do what she did. So in this book, she writes from the perspective of Eve. So she tries to basically flip the script and change the narrative that we have of Eve, which is just the second thing that I really loved about this book, right? So obviously we all know what happened with Adam and Eve in the Bible, where Eve ate the fruit of the tree that God said they shouldn't, right, and gave some to Adam. So I know, like, growing up, we always used to make jokes about it. Like, I always used to make jokes about Eve, like, oh, look at what she has done. Because of her, we're suffering in this world. We could all be chilling in the garden by now, but we've all been there. We all make these kind of jokes and blame Eve for everything. But SJR, Sarah Jakes Roberts, she really took the time to change the story and change the narrative and just give us a new insight to Eve. And I really, really appreciate that, because I'll be honest, I never really considered what it must have felt like to be in Eve's position, to make a mistake. Do you know what I mean? It's the audacity of me and the audacity of all of us, to be honest, to make jokes about Eve and blame her for the fall of humanity and blame her for the sufferings and the bad things that came into the world and blah 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 blah, without actually for a second considering what it must be like to be in her position. Because every single day in my life I make mistakes. Do you understand? Every single day in my life we all make mistakes. So who am I to now drag Eve for making a mistake as well? She was a human being, and Sarah Jakes Roberts is the first person that has actually made me pause and think about what went down in the garden from Eve's perspective, and then after the mistake was made, how she actually bounced back from that. So that's essentially what this book is about. How Eve didn't know better, or there were even times where she knew better but she didn't do what she was meant to do. And the beautiful, beautiful narrative that Sarah Jakes Roberts helped us to see in this book is how much of a powerful woman. Listen, Eve is powerful, okay? I actually rate her so much. I rate her so much. I never used to respect, well, I wouldn't say respect, but like I never really used to rate Eve. You know, when we think of people in the Bible that we look up to, or people in the Bible that we really respect, for the women it was always names like Esther, Ruth. You know, those are the ones that I can say, yeah, you know, there's a powerful woman. But Eve, listen, I hats off to her. I think she might just be my number one right now, because it's so crazy how she made the biggest mistake possibly ever made in this, you know, lifetime. And after that, it's obviously she would have been justified in falling into depression, and perhaps she did. It's very possible she got into a very dark place mentally, and you know, she was just really struggling. But it's the fact that sis kept going. Listen, sis actually kept going. Sis continued to carry the words that God had spoken over her before she made the mistake, right? And even after the mistake, like all the things that God had ever said to her, she actually carried that, and she continued to go. The instructions that God gave to her, she could have actually just given up, but she kept going. It just changed the perspective for me. And I, instead of seeing Eve as this person that messed it up for everybody, even though, I mean, that's what she did, right? Let's not lie. But instead of just seeing her as that, as her mistake, I now see her as the woman that kept going even after her mistake. So it's one thing for you to be knocked down, but are you going to get up? Reading this book and being reminded that Eve was a human being at the end of the day that made a mistake, like I have made mistakes so many times, it just really filled me with compassion for her. And I really wanted to give her a hug. The third main thing that I really liked about this book is just the words of affirmation. And this was really important to me, because words of affirmation is a very important love language for me. I like to be affirmed. I like, you know, it's just always nice to hear uplifting words, and sis did not hold back in this book. She really took her time to, in every single chapter, she affirmed women all around the world. But in particular, that what I wanted to highlight is at the very last chapter, in fact, the last chapter was basically just affirming everybody, right? But at the end, she just keeps going on and on. She talks about how you're a beautiful combination of sweet and sour. You're the answer to the earth's prayers and the greatest hope I have for my daughter's care. This is not the end for you. This is just the beginning. Your laughter sets my soul free. You know, you're neither boring nor random, but strategic and powerful. You cannot be defined, and God's power in you cannot be dismissed. I just really loved when I read this last chapter. Oh God, I really felt it, because like I said, I really hold words of affirmation highly, and this just, this really went in for me. There's some things that I highlighted. Let me see if I can quickly like read out some of the things that really stood out to me. Oh yes, this one. See, I just know this one. This is what she said. Let me read it out to you. When you wake up in the morning, darkness trembles because the potential of your light is so bright that darkness could lose its power. When I saw this, bro, I was like, darkness trembles when I wake up in the morning. Do you know how crazy that is? Because it recognizes how much power there is inside of me. It recognizes how much power we carry as women, and even men, to be honest. But every single one of us out there, when we wake up in the morning, there's so much that God has placed inside of us that darkness doesn't want out. The enemy doesn't want out. The devil doesn't want out. It wants it to stay buried inside of us, and it really boosted my confidence and self-esteem. And like, wow, imagine the devil shaking just because I yawned in the morning, just because I woke up and I stretched. The devil is already shaking like, Frida is awake. Is today the day she's going to tap into her potential? Is today the day she's going to realize how much gift she has and how much power God has placed inside of her? Is today that day? Like, people are sweating because you're awake. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyway, another one that I just saw that I really liked is, you are what God has planted in the earth. Within you, he has placed seed that will spring from your life so the earth can be sustained. This one I really loved because it reminded me that at the end of the day, every single thing that I do on this earth isn't just about me, right? I'm connected to the earth. I'm connected to the people around me. My purpose, my calling isn't just about me. It's meant to benefit the earth. It's meant to benefit every single person around me. It's meant to have like a ripple effect. You know, it should be a domino effect. It shouldn't be anything that I do. If I'm the only person that has been blessed from that situation, then I know that there's something wrong somewhere. But your purpose, your calling is not just about you. You're on this earth to be a blessing. You're on this earth to be an answer to somebody's problem. Okay, so yeah, I just really loved that reminder in this book. So yeah, there was just a whole lot, guys, a whole lot of wisdom in this book, a whole lot of, you know, oh god, look. This one, when I saw this one, I screamed. I actually screamed. Let me read it out. She said, "We don't walk away from what God tells us to do and find peace anywhere else." Listen. Let me read that again. We don't walk away from what God tells us to do and find peace anywhere else. I screamed when I read this because, hello, sis, are you talking to me? You guys don't even want to know how many times I have tried to run away from what God has asked me to do. Listen, Jonah wasn't even as bad as I am. Jonah, the one that the whale swallowed, he wasn't as bad as I am. I'm sure if it was me, it would have been 5 whales that God would have sent my way to come and swallow me. God, because I do be running, guys. I run away from God so much. I run away from things that I know I should be doing and things that He has called me to do, mainly because of fear. Anytime I find myself running away from God, I never have peace, and that's just facts. Let me close with this final sentence that I highlighted. We will have to abandon the decisions of the past and reach for the hope of tomorrow. If there's anybody out there, any young girl, any young lady, any woman, old woman, young woman, whoever you are, whatever age you are, and you have made some mistakes in your past, it's time to let it go. It's actually time. I decided this year that I definitely did not want to keep carrying certain baggage around. It started to feel really heavy. I was tired of dragging these things from my past and, oh my god, I've made all these mistakes, oh my god, I've done this and I've done that. It was really weighing me down and really stopping me from going into what I was supposed to do and going into, you know, thinking more of my future, because I'm spending all my time dwelling on the past. I just really want to encourage you and remind you that, first of all, God doesn't care, okay? He says, as far as the east is from the west, as far as the north is from the south. He doesn't see your sins. He doesn't see your mistakes. He doesn't see your flaws. When you come to Him, He just sees His child, okay? So it's time to let your past go. And this might mean getting therapy. This might mean getting some form of counseling, speaking to people, praying a lot more and things like that. But whatever it would take for you to heal and move on from your past mistakes, it's time to begin to actually do that. You are the answer to somebody's problem. So if you don't start answering, that person will continue to have a problem. So it's time to get rid of things that are stopping you from becoming that answer to the person's problem. It's time to heal from things that past traumas and past mistakes and past decisions, or just anything that is still holding you back. It's time to heal. It's time to heal. It's time to move on. And sis even mentioned that in this book. She said it's time for therapy, it's time for counseling, it's time for whatever it is you need to do. That would mean you evolve as a woman and step into everything that you are meant to be. My final thoughts, yes, 100% I would recommend this book. That's everything from me for Woman Evolved by Sarah Jakes Roberts. If you guys liked this book review and you want me to do more book reviews in the future, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you like, comment and subscribe. And remember, it's time to reclaim your power and step into everything that God has called you to be with so much boldness and courage. I hope you have a good day. Bye.